Today we have a topic. I need to say it like this: if you are a parent and you are listening to Smash FM 88.1, please, you don't want to miss this topic. If you are a guardian or you have younger ones, who are in secondary schools or who need important information about education, you don't want to miss this episode of the show, because we are going to be talking about a topic that is so fresh in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As usual, I have my usual suspect in the studio. Doctor was not in the studio last week, but he's back this week, and I'm happy that he's back, because what we want to talk about today is going to need his expertise. Is the face behind educational reality talk show and the face behind Harvard College of Science, Business and Management Studies, Dr. Adebayo Oluwatosin. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning, listeners at home.
And also we have the Exams and Record Officer at Harvard College of Science, Business and Management Studies, Miss Mary Ebusimba.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to our viewers at home.
And as usual, we have Miss Kemi Aderoju in the studio with us, and Manfa is producing. Before we go to our topic of today, Miss Mary, what has been happening at Harvard?
Okay, so far, Harvard has resumed our first semester for the new academic session.
Okay.
Lectures has commenced.
Wow.
Our new intakes have started lectures as well. So all hands are on deck to make sure that the semester runs very smoothly.
Okay.
And we are still on admission process. Application is still ongoing.
Okay.
Which we've been announcing that the door is very wide open for everyone. Through pre-ND, through ND, through HND. All our courses are fully accredited.
Okay.
There's no cause for alarm. And like we announced last week, we also have a new baby, let me use that word, baby, which is law.
Okay, because someone sent me a message, after at the end of the show last week, and the person came to meet me at one of our functions, and the person, we spoke at length about the things that it will benefit at Harvard. Now this person he actually inspired me, because he said he wants to know more about the new baby you're talking about, the law at Harvard, because it's so nice that you mentioned it, that even if you are not a student, you can apply for. So please, can you speak more about it for people at home and for people like him to listen? Shout out to Mr. Lawal. He came to meet me, and he asked a lot of questions about Harvard.
Okay. So for the law program, like I said last week, you don't necessarily need to be an aspiring student to come for law.
Okay.
If you are maybe in civil defense, even you as an individual, you want to study law, provided you have your O-level, complete O-level requirements.
Okay.
Like I said last week, even you can come for law, because the essence of the law is not necessarily that because you want to become a lawyer or a barrister. It's another way of enabling you know your rights, your human rights, your fundamental rights. So by the time you undergo this 2-year program, I mean, a policeman or a enforcement cannot harass you on the road, because it will equip you in knowing your rights, in knowing what you are supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to do it. So I believe this is an opportunity for everyone. Like I said earlier, you don't need to have the mindset of, I want to become a barrister, I want to become a lawyer to come for the program. No. Even I myself am considering going for it, because definitely it will help us go a long way. Because Nigeria is a society where, especially all these policemen will harass you for no just reason. But the moment they know that, this person knows his or her rights, and they look at the way you talk, from the perspective, the way you speak, they will give you that respect and let you be. But whereby you don't know your rights, you don't even know what you're supposed to do. Even when a police officer asks what he or she is not supposed to ask you, you will start feeling fidgeting or something. But the moment you are equipped through this course or through this program, I mean, nobody will harass you on the road. And it will also help you. Maybe you are a tenant, you know how to handle your tenancy agreements, your landlord issue, and lots of issues like that will arise. So it will equip you to be able to scale through all this without getting yourself into unnecessary problem or trouble.
So now that the lectures has commenced, can people still seek an admission into law and or maybe other courses?
Yes, we have the regular program and we also have the part-time program.
Okay, good.
So the part-time program is yet to commence fully.
Oh, okay.
The part-time. So if you feel if you like, okay, you cannot meet up with the regular program,
okay,
you can apply for the part-time program.
Good.
So we accommodate everyone.
And as always, it is
www.harvardcollege.edu.ng.
Thank you. So now to the topic of today. Assessing the new government policy on tertiary institutions admission requirements in Nigeria, the effect on educational development. You can see that it is fresh in the news. So what are the key changes in the O-level requirements for admission into higher institutions as introduced by the government? Dr. Adibai.
Yeah, our listeners at home, once again, I say good morning. If you look at during the week, a lot of information was spreading all over the country, even to the essence that the federal government again, through the Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education, had to intervene as at Thursday and yesterday. When we are saying the new changes, we are looking at the changes that the government suddenly introduced. And looking at it very well, particularly everybody in this country today are particularly parents. They want their words, that is their children to be educated. That is after secondary school, what next? And every day the government is coming up with different policies. So we can call this one as one of the policies that the government look at it very well critically by saying that every year over 2 million apply through joint admission and matriculation board examination, that is you do used to write UTME. At the end of the day, less than 1 million who have been admitted due to one reason or the other. And because of this, so they believe that it's causing a lot of problem. In a situation whereby we have 700,000 gaining admission annually out of over 2 million, and that means we have about 1.something million on grant. Then the following year, additional over 1 million will be added. So what happened to those ones? And most of the reason why these students who are not gaining admission are so numerous, which one of them is their admission requirement? Right from day one, I've been one of the people that used to tell people that using awaiting results for JAMB is not the best. Because sometimes when you just finish secondary school, your result is not out. Your O-level result, which is the basic requirement, is not out yet. And JAMB are selling form. And they created room for you to buy form so that you can use an awaiting result called AR. And at the end of the day, how many of these students used to gain the admission through this awaiting result? By the time the result comes out, you realize that the result may not be what you have deficiency either in subject or this. So this time around, those are the things that government are looking into. Not that they want to cancel the awaiting result method, but look at most of the reason that make most of these students not to be able to gain admission. One of them is mathematics problem, whereby the basic requirement for every courses in Nigeria is you must have English credit, minimum credit in English language and mathematics, which wasn't like that before. But today, the new policy now says that if you are an art student going for any art and humanity related courses, either law, mass comm, political science, sociology, and so many other art related courses like that, you don't need mathematics any longer. Either you have F9 or whatsoever. What you need is just a 5 credit in related to those courses, including English language. Now the only students that need mathematics are those that are going to study science related courses or engineering then and social sciences. Those are one of the changes that the government just made. And secondly, that if you have 4 credit now you can apply to polytechnic, you can apply to college of education. Unlike 5 credits is for everybody. Some years ago, in the 90s, if you are going to polytechnic, it's 4 credits. Then we are going to even college of education, it was 3 credits then. But later, when JAMB took over everything, they put everything out to the 5 credits, including English and mathematics. But the new policy that came out now is that 4 credits for ND program and NC. The while 5 credit is now for HND and bachelor degree. And what does it mean? It means that if you have 4 credits, you can apply to polytechnic or college of education. Then within that 2 years or the 3 years, if you believe that you are going for your HND or you want to go for your BSc or BEd in future, you can as well by that write WAEC, NECO or any other related examination to make sure that you complete the 5 credit. So which means that you don't have any excuse to stay at home. You don't have any reason not to go into any higher institution now, rather than saying, okay, because of this, many have been discouraged of not going to school. You know, we used to say, now look at the right this year. You see a lot of students have cancelled results. As of today, as I'm talking to you, we have reward of many students, even in this Ogun State, was cancelled. Some have not even seen the result up to this moment, and the reasons have not been given. Many have 4 credit now. Maybe some of the project, the subject in front is cancelled. So which means that when the same subject is cancelled, it means that they cannot get the result any longer, or some pending, which you don't even know they are free presently. So with 4 credits now, you can be admitted to either any to higher institution. Then another one again that the white just brought up, one of the policy is that only 7 subjects is now required at secondary school at the final exam. You know, before it's compulsory is 9 subjects, but now it's 7. And when you say 7 subjects now, only 6. Then 1 has to be language. Either you are an Igbo language, Hausa language, or Yoruba language. But you have to focus. But unlike before, everybody you have to write 9 subjects. And all these things also affect all this students. That those subjects are too many for them. It can be reduced. Then another one added to it is that you don't need, if you are an art student, you don't need economics any longer. That is, you cannot write economics, because economics, as a science student, you don't need economics any longer. So once you are in science, you write only science subject courses. Once you are art, is art, then economics is now for only those in social science that they call commercial subject science class in secondary school. So when you are in commercial class, you need economics, accounting, commerce, and so on. But when you are in art class, you don't need economics again. When you are in science class, you don't need economics again. Those are the current changes that the government just made in relating to their O-level requirement for our admission into higher institution, and as government has been introduced by the government as at this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, Doctor, before you rest, how can institutions now adopt this requirement to allow easy transition for the students?
It's a very simple something.
All right, sir.
This is government. That's the work of the government. Government know how to communicate to the institutions.
Okay.
I remember sometimes last year, there is a particular examination body in addition to WAEC, NECO, and NAPTEP. Those ones I think is emanated from the northern part of the country.
Okay.
Their own is Arabic, school of Arabic or whatsoever, like that. I mean, body like an Arabic, something like this thing, like WAEC also. It was just created.
Okay.
I believe, I don't know much about it from actually. But when I later realized that, when they want to us to know, I mean, to be aware, they send a circular around all the institutions in Nigeria. That is, once any student come with this certificate or from this body, is also equivalent as if you are having a WAEC result. It was also sent to JAMB. So there's an agency in charge of all these things. Every agency will be notified. NUC will be notified. NCCE will be notified. Then MBT will be notified. JAMB will be notified. So with that, it will be easier for everyone to understand, okay, this is government, because it's government that controls the institution in Nigeria.
Yes.
Either a private owned institution or a public-owned institution. So it is not very difficult. That is the smooth of the operation. That is to be, or the how this policy, no, that maybe I know it's not going to work here or not. I don't think it's a difficult something. Government have, and the circular have been sent to every one of us.
Okay.
Like now, we in our institution now we receive the circular.
Okay.
So once we receive it, we know that we are going to abide with it without any kind of doubt or thinking of maybe contrary to what government says. So it is not possible. It is very easy.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Ms. Mary, what measures can be taken to ensure that these new admission policies promote inclusivity and equal opportunities for students?
Okay, thank you for that question. Just like Dr. said earlier, I think the whole still lie on the government because they are the originator of the policy.
Okay.
So they are the one that will have to do what we call a very close monitoring and evaluation. Because if now the policy has changed, now, you know, in the past, we usually have students who would score 285, 295 in UTME. And at the end of the day, such child will not be given admission. Not just not given admission. Even in most cases, if they are being given admission, they might be given courses that is not their interest, that is not of their interest. So I think the government will have to look into this by evaluating, okay, at the end of admission or during the admission, they should look at students who have scored or who have met these requirements that are yet to be given admission. They should look into it and know what could be the reason why such students or such child have not been given admission.
Okay.
I think with that, they will be able to monitor it because Nigeria education has become a system whereby you have to be highly connected before you can be given admission. Not just given admission, but given admission of your choice, because of your choice. So we have cases where you have someone who has scored 285, 300 and applied for maybe medicine or law in, for example, Unilag, and at the end of the day, such child will be denied of admission. Okay. So it will have to take that child to know somebody that knows somebody or have a godfather somewhere to be able to secure such admission. So I think if the federal government is able to do a very close monitoring and evaluation, this will help make the policy to play in and be of what it's actually meant for. Otherwise, I feel like the policy would not still solve the problem because the actual reason for this policy is because we have a large number of students that at the end of every admission year, they won't be given admission. So if they just bring out the policy and there is no monitoring towards the policy, it will still not fulfill the purpose. So I feel we should do that.
Thank you, Ms. Mary. Now, Doctor, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, he have said it all, actually. Okay. But the fact still remains that our system is so corrupt. I remember when our former president, the late Yaradua, said something that in his own assessment that educational sector is the most corrupt sector in Nigeria, and which is that is the fact. Now, let's take for instance, as I'm talking to you presently, I'm battling with an issue in Ekiti State now concerning the students. She scored 339 in this last jam for law. Not because one, she's not from Ekiti State, which is not supposed to be. Are we not Nigeria? That is number one. Then number two, because she wants to study law, and Ekiti State did not write a procedure, they do screening. Most of these universities now, they are doing one funny thing that they will tell you online screening. So instead of them to what that unlike the former come and write post-UTME. Now, the guy have been deprived of the admission now, and I know because of my link to the state as an origin of the state, I call a brother that will have to be a special advisor to the government on security and all that. I sent all the information to her. At the end of the day, the reply he gave to me was admission on law and everything have been closed. Law, medicine, nursing, those things have been closed. So those courses, what is so special about it that a student that score such and have a very good grade in the whole level cannot? And that's okay now. If she can do change of course to Banideli Olumiloa University in Ikere Ekiti, now that maybe for mass com because they don't have law in that institution. So I must look at it now. Look at the way they want to change the destiny of a child that aspire to become a lawyer in future. Those are the challenges of corruption over that. It's not only that state, it's all our government institution in Nigeria that is, and it's not every parent can afford to send their wards to private institution, and that is where the problem is. So if the government if they want to be sincere with this, let them come in. We leave the issue of those VC slots, professor slots, so slots. Why? We are in the system together. So why slot for this, slot for this? So if you don't know Dean, you don't know VC, you don't know what political struggle in Nigeria, so your word will suffer despite all the candle and everything that this guy has bombed when he was trying to win to make sure he passed the course. That is it. So the system, the government have to come and still say that, look, if truly we want this policy to work, let the corruption be the corruption in admission system they were being I will use the word eliminated. Otherwise we are still going back to square one. I see the way it is. Then moreover, when you look at it, sir, sometimes the JAMB also should look into it critically, which is the government also can control JAMB by not being, let them know how many, not by selling form just anyhow, or because you want to generate money for the government. JAMB want to make billions of naira from the poor masses every year. But we know JAMB know the number of students can total number of students can be admitted annually. So if you know that they cannot be more than 800,000, ISF from more than 1 million. But allowing students going to 2 million to buy form, all because you want to make money. Are we playing gambling? That is another aspect. Then if you ask me my own personal opinion, completely allow every institution in Nigeria to be what? To be admitting students on their own without one particular body called unified examination body. That is, it's never done anywhere. It's still Nigeria. We are still using unified examination to gain admission to Nigeria. A student can obtain form of more than 10 institutions. It's a matter of choice. In abroad, you have your money, get application for more than 10, 20. So anyone now you fit, there must be basic requirement. That requirement should be determined. Not that go and write one examination somewhere. At the end of the day, you score even almost all the total number of the scores, even above, then admission will not be given. So to me, even the JAMB can be scratched. I will appreciate it. Well, JAMB is not being scratched, but let every student being admitted get from their school, from the school of their choice, buy form. Then at the end of the day, let there not be a body that will remain after admission has been given to that student. Maybe you obtain form from about 7 institutions. Then you have one. You eventually go to one, of course, which is normal. Now at the end of the day, let that one now send your name to JAMB. Maybe that will not be the one to now send a scratch card, generate money on that. But you must have secured admission. You should pass the examination of the institution. So if they still want to be sending, rather than every year want to be writing exam. Many have written exam more than 4 or 5 times. But admission has not been given, and the student will get discouraged and become a tout on the streets and become a criminal in the society, all because of the frustration they got from what? From the bad policy.
Jerry, ètò tá à ń ṣe lénìí, ètò tó yàtọ̀ ni. Ètò tá à ń ṣe lénìí ó wá láti ibi pé àwọn àyípadà tí ìjọba ṣẹ̀ ṣe nínú ètò ẹ̀kọ́ àgàgà fún àwọn ọmọ tó wà ní secondary school tó fẹ́ lọ sí tertiary institution. A mọ̀ pé for so many years àwọn ọmọ ìlú wà nílé torí pé wọ́n tó bá ṣe junior WAEC kò pass English kò pass economics kò pass kíní kan ó máa jókòó sílé. Àmọ́ ìjọba ti wá ṣe àyípadà ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tá a wà yìí. So doctor, ẹ jọ sá in Yorùbá language ẹ bá mi ṣàlàyé gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ sọ ní àtẹ̀kọ́ ní èdè òyìnbó, ẹ jọ bá mi ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ fáwọn bàbá wa àti màmá wa nílé.
Ohun tó ń gbìyànjú láti sọ fún àwọn òbí wa tẹ̀ ń gbé wa nílé lẹ́nu nítorí pé ẹ̀yin lọ̀rọ̀ yín náà kàn jù pàápàá àwọn tí àwọn ríra bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó fún. Ta máa ń ṣe àlàyé pé àwọn tó ń wà ní ìjọba, àwọn tó ń lówó lọ́wọ́, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ó lè má kàn wọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe mọ̀. Òun ló fi jẹ́ pé a máa ń sọ nígbà mìíràn yìí pé mo ti sọ pé èèyàn kan mọ́ ní àwọn kan rí pé a dé àwọn ilé ìwé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga Nàìjíríà lè tẹ́ pé wọ́n ń ṣe wáyé kan ń ṣe nẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mẹ́rin rárá torí pé ẹni tó rọ́mọ lọ school tó ń sọ 4.5 million lọ́dún kan tọmọdé ló bí ọdún márùn àbí mẹ́fà bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹni wọ́n expect kó máa sọ pé òun fẹ́ lọ sí University of Lagos wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé lóyìnbó ló ń lọ àwọn exam lóyìnbó ló ń ṣe but èyí tó yẹ pé ó jẹ́ tiwa ń bì àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù tó pé wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wáyé ẹ̀ ṣe lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀ ṣe so ìdánwò wọ̀nyí táwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí ń ṣe ọdọọdún làwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí ń fail then ọmọ tó bá fẹ́ wọ́n tẹ̀síwájú ó lè jẹ́ subject ẹyọ kan ṣoṣo mi ò ní lè jẹ́ kó lọ pàápàá mathematics táwọn èèyàn mọ̀ pé ọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ mi ò tiẹ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí mathematics rárá torí ìdí kan tàbí òmíràn wẹ́ pé a lè máa sọ ń sìn gẹ́gẹ́ bí torí àkókò wa so ìjọba wa ń ṣe ètò wípé láti ọdún yìí lọ ètò yẹn òfin yẹn dẹ̀ jáde ní inú ọ̀sẹ̀ tá a wà yìí pé ọmọ tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ̀kọ́ nípa òfin bíi tá a pè ní law ọmọ tó bá pè gbogbo ọmọ tó bá pè course tó fẹ́ lọ ṣe under faculty of arts and humanities ló máa wà bíi law ní mass comm ní political science ní sociology ní àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ọmọ yìí ò ní ìdí mathematics mọ́ ní ìdá WAEC ní o tàbí NECO ní o tàbí NAPTEP ní o àbí ìkẹrin èyí tí ìjọba ṣe mú jáde láì ní ibi kan bíi ọdún kan sẹ́yìn now lẹ́yìn yẹn náà àwọn ọmọ tó ní ìdí maths wọ́n ní àwọn tó yẹ kó wọ́n ṣe tó wà ní science engineering pẹ̀lú àwọn bíi social science bíi o fẹ́ lọ ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ nípa accounting o fẹ́ lọ ìjọba àpá nípa economics àti àwọn kan wọ̀nyí business administration àwọn èèyàn ní di mathematics but pure art wọ́n ní di mathematics mọ́ then wọ́n ti wá sọ wípé tó o bá ní credit márùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin tó wà nílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ tó yẹ kó JAMB ṣe wípé 5 credit pẹ̀lú maths àti English ni tó o bá ní o ò lè apply pé o fẹ́ lọ sí university ni o fẹ́ lọ sí polytechnic nàbí o lọ sí college of education ni but èyí sì wọ́n wá sọ wípé ìwọ́n tó bá pé 4 credit ló ní o lè lọ sí polytechnic yìí sìn fún ND ọdún méjì or college of education fún NC ọdún mẹ́ta so wọ́n mọ̀ kó wá fẹ́ tẹ̀síwájú then láàrin ọdún méjì yẹn ọdún mẹ́ta yẹn wàá ti ní subject tó ní tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn bóyá kò kọ̀ wá ṣe GC láàkókò yẹn èyí tó jẹ́ general examination fún àwọn ọkọ̀ bá ti NECO ní orí ti WAEC àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ wàá ṣe wàá lè jẹ́ kó tẹ̀síwájú then wọ́n wá àjọ WAEC náà tí wọ́n jọ parapọ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn àti àwọn àjọ yòókù pé láti ọdún tó ń bọ̀ ọmọ ò ṣe subject mẹ́sàn-án méje ni wàá ṣe mẹ́fà tó relate mọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó fẹ́ lọ kọ́ ní ilé ìwé gíga then pẹ̀lú èdè kan nígbà èdè Yorùbá ni èdè àwọn Ìgbò ni àbí èdè Haúsá ló máa fi jẹ́ méje ṣẹ́ni wọ́n wípé ń sìn àwọn WAEC náà ti gbé system kan jáde wípé láti ọdún tó ń bọ̀ kọ̀ǹpútà ni wọ́n máa fi ṣe exam bí ti JAMB àdẹ̀rí pé ìpolongo yẹn náà ó ti ń lọ káàkiri so la ṣe rò pé àwọn òbí ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ tí kí ni ìjọba tẹ̀ fi ṣe òfin yìí pé a rí pé ọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ yìí lè wọ yunifásitì or kó wọ polytechnic gẹ́gẹ́ bí deficiency lórí subject kan tàbí òmíràn so wọ́n ṣe rò kó dáa o nígbà táwọn ọmọ bá jókòó sílé lọ́pọ̀ gbà àwọn ọmọ yìí wọ́n lè wà wípé ilé ìwé ìtẹ̀ òwú lọ́mọ mo ṣáà ti jáde secondary school so àwádìí pé kàn máa wá nǹkan mìíràn sọ ìjọba dẹ̀ bí pé téèyàn ò bá kàwé kò lè sí nǹkan tí èèyàn lè ṣe ní àṣeyọrí ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga secondary school sì àbọ̀wé là ń pè even university àti ẹ̀ lọ lọ́jọ́ ìlú ìdìbọn sí tó bá ní first degree sí it's not a first kì í ṣe opportunity fún ẹ láti tètè rí iṣẹ́ wa ní ṣòtí ní master tó ní second degree ẹ lọ́wọ́ so bẹ́ẹ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ àti ẹ̀rí bí agbọ́lé iṣẹ́ kan tó ní àwọn page kan wà tó yẹ pé wọ́n fẹ́ fún driver wọ́n gba àwọn page yẹn apply gẹ́gẹ́ bí àṣegbọ́ so fún ìdí èyí òun ni ìjọba ṣe wò pé kẹ́yìn òbí kẹ́ ẹ lè gbọ́ wípé nǹkan báyìí o òfin báyìí látò ti ṣe o láti lè mú ìrọ̀rùn bá àwọn ọmọ yín láti lè tẹ̀síwájú nínú ẹ̀kọ́ wọn.
ẹ ṣe conductor now I will still come to Ms. Mary. Ms. Mary, you still have to help us address your people in Igbo language. So, but let's take a breather. Let's take a breather right
now. Let me say, part of what caused controversy during the week Immediately the government released the circular about this new policy. There was a speculation around the nation that JAMB have been scratched out. You don't need JAMB again to do your admission for admission in Nigeria. No, that is not what the policy says. What the policy says is that subject requirement. JAMB is still the body that is going to be controlling our admission policy. So,
tertiary institutions in Nigeria.
In all tertiary institutions in Nigeria, either university, polytechnic, or college of education, is still JAMB. Okay. So there's no any other body. So JAMB has not been phased out. So as of today, there's nothing like that.
All right. So let's take a breather, Manfa. When we come back, we continue with the rest of the show. Quality of education in Nigeria and the future workforce.
When we are looking at the long-term effects, when we say effects, it means we want to look at the advantage and the disadvantage. Right. Number one, in the long run, to me, the advantage aspect of it is that it will increase number of students gaining admission yearly, which is the major reason the government even initiated that policy. So for that, when you look at it very well, the quality is that when I remember sometimes ago, some curriculum before those curriculum didn't change. There are some courses that, if you are doing philosophy, for instance, philosophy is art related courses. Now, there is logic in philosophy, and that logic, there is something related to calculation. Now, a student that wants to study philosophy, now eventually does not need mathematics. The moment they discover that you don't need mathematics for this or that, there is no way. What I would have suggested that instead of saying, okay, maybe if it is D in mathematics, let them have
at least,
rather than saying there's no mathematics. And so, because by the time you look at it very well, if you leave higher institution, you secure an employment. As a lawyer, sometimes lawyers do calculations.
Of course.
Lawyers do reason. That's not because logic reasoning. Now, even people in the media, they come together, even if it is how to calculate money. You want to do plus or minus.
Definitely.
And if the foundation is no more there, like now, sometimes you see you want to do some a long something calculation, you apply some mathematical formula like board math, for instance. You want to do addition and multiplication and bracket, all those stuff together. You don't have the knowledge. It's going to affect the organization that employs you. So those are the things that, to me, I look into very well. But the advantage is more than the disadvantage. That is majorly for the reason why government, came out with that policy. That is believing that it's going to improve this. Our admission status, but the quality of education in Nigeria and the workforce, there's going to be some little challenges, whatever the case may be, because there is no way, not that the mathematics is so really necessary, but in some aspect area, there's no way that they will not need some little calculation. I can study mathematics now, I make myself in I can study law now, end up in working in a bank. There are so many lawyers today, those that study law, even after law school, they are bankers. Now, as a cashier, don't you need mathematics? Then if you want to further your career in banking industry, you start writing their professional examination for CIBN or whatsoever. Then, because you want to pursue career in that banking, after all, what your foundation is from? It's from banking, from law. So definitely you need calculation in some certain area. So that is whereby I look, the area I'm looking into, that in the future, there are going to be some little challenges.
So, Doctor, let me put you on the spot. If you are the Minister of Education right now, with these changes, with everything you have spoken about, what will you do? As in, how will you give the students a soft landing? How will you give the institutions soft landing regarding these new changes in the educational policy?
Yeah, see, if you look at it very well, sir.
Right, sir.
One could have done better if I should be a minister.
Yes, sir.
In this country.
Yes, sir.
Outrightly, I would do complete overhauling of the system. How? Gaining admission into university at the age of 16, which it was want to be introduced, Nigeria criticized it last year or whether could have been one of my policy. I would change it. But when I'm changing it, number one, I will allow, when you finish secondary at the age of 16, you go to college, maybe equivalent to polytechnic in whereby you spend an additional 2 years.
Okay. That
2 years, you are studying a course related to your course you want to go and study in the university. It will encourage you to have more knowledge. It will reduce the number of students seeking admission to university every year. Because as at the time you are in the college, you may end up, because the policy will say that, okay, you may not need to go further after the college. Maybe you want to go for skill. Then from that 2 years, you already have a certificate, maybe equivalent to national diploma. Then you want to go for skill. It will reduce those that be seeking admission through jam every year. That could have been the best policy. That is what they do in abroad. If you go to the United Kingdom today, you cannot secure admission to university at the age of 16. It is not possible. And they know the truth. Even some of our parents that criticized the age when it was introduced some years ago, or maybe last year or previous 2023, they knew the truth that in UK, some of them have words that you can't gain admission to university. Even in United States of America, even in Canada, you will pass through college first, and that will now give you whether to further more or not. That would have been the best thing I would have done to achieve this. And you see that children will be willing to go to. It's not about, okay, government's giving fund to, it's about financial. It's not about financial problem. The problem we are having in Nigeria today. You look at some years during Jonathan, sir, they try to introduce that and you cannot go and study medicine at a tender age of 16. Like that, you have to study one biological or related courses first. Then from there, you now go for medicine, because those young ones that graduated from medicine to study medicine, they don't know value for life. They are still young. You see them the way they are talking, they don't know anything about life. You see them in the hospital, they don't care. But an adult that know what life is all about, when they see patients, they know what life about. These young ones, they are still young, they don't know anything. That was their reason then. But eventually it was criticized again, and this thing was modified out of the system. So the system is that we have a lot of problems. That is, to me, if I should be a minister, if just a one day minister, I will do complete overhauling of the system and make sure that not everybody go to university or pretend that it should be a complete vocational institution. After 2 years, you can go. Then already you are not an O-level graduate student owner. Older. Thank you. You are not an O-level holder. So definitely you've known that, okay, after your secondary school, you've gained or you've added a value or additional certificate to your O-level. Then if you now want to go to further your education, then you can now go. That will reduce the problem. That is wrong.
Sir, there is a way that you break down these topics that actually it changes the impact it will have on the children, on the students, on the institution. So please, for our Igbo speaking people, that our fathers and mothers and the guardians, please help us simplify everything in Igbo language. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, topic in Kaiwetere Unotabu, topic pụtara the new policy in the Ministry of Education wetara. So onye na-akọba na bụ na onye ọbụla chọrọ inweta admission na mahadum ọ na-eduzighị ị na-enwe 5 complete O level ma ọ bụrụ na ọ chọrọ ime ND program. So ihe o neediri bụ 4 credits. And ndị ọbụla chọrọ ime courses na-adịghị related to sciences, o needizighi mathematics. Ihe o neediri bụ just those related 4 courses, 4 subjects, exclusive of mathematics. So this policy ga-eme ka ụmụ ndị na-ele JAMB nwetakwa admission more instead of ị na-anọ na yard every year or ị na-anọ na ụlọ every year. So ọ ya mee ka more students nwetakwa admission na mahadum. So on here topic tata na-akọba. Thank you.
Well, I'm saying because I know that our Igbo people have gotten that message. So, Doctor, I'm Orowole Magbaf. Let me for coming on the show today, and thank you for breaking it down for us. At least now, the parents know the stand that they should take when it comes to these new policies in our educational system, and the students themselves know that there's nothing to fear. There's no confusion. You know what you did English and mathematics for to gain admission into tertiary institutions. So, Doctor, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our listeners too.
Miss Mary, sign off in your language. I beg. Just say thank you to our listeners in your language.
Okay. Ndị na-ege anyị ntị, anyị ekele unu na time unu wepụtara gee program anyị. Program a ga na-abịa every Saturday by 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. ụbọchị Saturday ọbụla. Anyị ekele unu and anyị na-emekwa unu expect next week. Thank you.
So, Ms. Kanareoju, thank you for being on the show. Manfa, thank you. Also, www.harvardcollege.edu.ng. Every single detail you need is on that website. Till next week, when we come your way again, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. God bless you all.